Hi, I'm Mel Pickup, Chief Executive of Bradford Teaching Hospitals, and welcome to this month's roundup of stories from across the Trust. At the start of the month, we marked the third anniversary of the COVID-19 outbreak, and we heard from colleagues, Professor Dinesh Saralaya and Rakaya Mia, about their roles in tackling the pandemic.
Bradford is a bustling city, people are out and about. There's a large young community which is in the service sector. But on the 23rd of March, this city was completely shut down. We didn't know what the treatments were. We didn't have a vaccine. From one patient on March 16th, we quickly became 100. And then that number rose to close to 200 patients by June. When we were seeing the first patients with COVID-19, we didn't know how to treat them.
It was a very scary and a very worrying time, predominantly around patient care and how we maintain safety. I was one of the first to have lost one of my staff, which really affected me in our organisation. But to see the loss of patients and see the national data that saw disproportionate deaths amongst communities regardless, it was a very frightening time.
Thank you to Dinesh and Rakaya and to all our colleagues who continue to keep our community safe from COVID-19. We also heard from Rakaya Ghani about the amazing work of the Trust Speech and Language Therapy team.
When we got here, he had pneumonia in his left lung. He ended up on a ward, got transferred to Ward 27, and he collapsed. He had some sort of flood in both his lungs. They thought it was a heart attack. It wasn't. He ended up on ICU.
And then within 3 days, he had a stroke in ICU, which lasted 3 days.
So listen to me first. Nicole. Good, good.
Melodic intonation therapy uses the musical elements of speech. So where a patient might have difficulty using words and speech to be able to get across their needs or what it is that they're trying to express, when they try to sing those words instead, it's a lot easier for that to happen.
Thank you, Rakaya, Mick and family. My guest on the podcast this month was perinatal palliative care midwife Vicky Jones. She talked about our innovative butterfly pathway, which supports families of babies with life-limiting conditions.
We work with the physiotherapists when the babies are born. We work with fetal medicine in Leeds, the cardiologist. When your baby has got some sort of conditions that it's diagnosed with, there's so many appointments to go through that it can become totally overwhelming, and I try and take away some of that from the families so that they can actually try and enjoy that pregnancy, because the baby's going to have a short life, if any life. So it's really important to try and have some positive elements to that pregnancy of building some memories. We went to a scan appointment a little while ago, and the baby was just seen to be putting his thumb up. And we caught that on a picture, and we got that picture printed. And it's just about just taking these little bits along the journey, because at the end that might be what the families have left.
You can hear the full episode of my chat with Vicky by subscribing to the podcast. It's available in all the major podcast providers. Simply search Let's Talk with Mel Pickup. That's it for this month's update. I look forward to sharing more stories from the Trust with you next month. Don't forget, all our latest news and updates can be found on our social media channels, Twitter, LinkedIn and Facebook.